Just when you thought the Eagles' offseason was finished cooking, they toss more fuel on the fire. The best player on the team is working in silence, getting ready to shock everyone in 2025. And behind the scenes, a position battle is quietly heating up, one no one's really talking about. Plus, what one new player just said about Philly's locker room might shut down all those trade rumors we've been hearing. This isn't just a quiet summer, this is the calm before an Eagles storm. Let's break it all down. With training camp less than a month away, you'd think most players are chilling on a beach or at home with family, but not this group. The Eagles tight ends, they're grinding. They're at Tight End University, a 3-day elite-level camp where more than 50 NFL tight ends come together to sharpen every part of their game. Led by legends Greg Olsen, George Kittle, and Travis Kelce, this camp focuses on film study, technique work, and competitive drills. And guess what? The Eagles showed up ready, representing Philly at TEU this year. Dallas Goedert, the clear leader, Grant Calcaterra, the underdog with upside, E.J. Jenkins, the big target fighting for a spot. These guys aren't just showing up, they're sending a message. We're not coasting into 2025, we're coming for it. Section 2, the tight end battle. No one's talking about this TE University appearance actually highlights something bigger, a sneaky position battle inside the Eagles locker room that no one's really talking about. Here's the truth. Every single one of the Eagles' tight ends, including Goedert, is entering the final year of their contract. That means after this season, the Eagles have 0 tight ends locked in for 2026. Let that sink in. And while most people assume Goedert has the spot locked down, we need to start watching Grant Calcaterra and Jaylen Carter closely. Calcaterra stepped up last year when Goedert was hurt. He showed flashes, soft hands, good awareness, reliable routes. But the new guy, Jaylen Carter, could be the wild card. He quietly signed with Philly earlier this offseason, and he's already turning heads at OTAs. Remember, this is a guy drafted by the Colts in 2021 who played with a revolving door of quarterbacks. Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Sam Ehlinger, Nick Foles, Gardner Minshew, Anthony Richardson, Joe Flacco. Yes, that's a real list. That kind of instability kills production. So don't judge him by his stats in Indy. Granson has upside, and in a more stable offense like Philly's, he finally has a chance to show it. And according to multiple reports from CBS Sports, the Eagles have been heavily featuring tight ends in open practices. That's a big deal. New offensive coordinator Kellen Moore may be planning to use more 2TE sets, more misdirection, more red zone creativity. So this position group, it's about to matter a lot more than people think. So now the question is this: who's going to step up behind Goedert? Will it be Granson, Calcaterra, or could someone unexpected steal the show? Drop your answer in the comments. Rate your confidence in this tight end room from 1 to 10. And tell us, should the Eagles invest long-term in one of these guys? Let's talk about something no one's really paying attention to right now, but they should, because there's a silent war brewing behind Dallas Goedert, and it could shape the Eagles' offense in a big way this year. We're talking about the battle for tight end number 2. While all eyes are on star names, there's a serious fight going on between 3 hungry players trying to prove they belong. Grant Calcaterra, Jaylen Carter, and Harrison Bryant. Now, let's break this down clearly. Jaylen Carter has the tools. He's not a superstar, but he's a reliable, smooth pass catcher. He runs good routes, he's tough, and he's used to working through chaos. Just look at what he went through in Indianapolis. Calcaterra, on the other hand, has been in Philly's system longer. He knows the playbook. He stepped up when Goedert missed time before and made some smart, tough plays in tight spots. Then there's Harrison Bryant, who adds value with his blocking, but he's more of a support guy. This battle is really between Granson and Calcaterra, and it's much bigger than fans realize. Why? Because none of these tight ends, including Goedert, are under contract for 2026. That's right, 0. So not only is someone fighting for the number 2 spot, someone is also fighting for a future payday. And when you mix contract year pressure with real talent, it creates serious motivation. Every representative, every route, every catch, it all counts more than ever. And yes, technically the Eagles could re-sign Goedert. But the signs aren't so clear. He's getting older, and the team didn't exactly rush to get a deal done this offseason. So there's a very real chance the Eagles are already looking toward the future. And one of these 3 guys is fighting to grab that torch. There's blood in the water, or better yet, money in the water. And these tight ends are going after it. Section 3, Jaylen Carter sends a message to every Eagles fan now. While some players are battling for their next contract, one of Philly's biggest stars already has the spotlight on his deal. And it's going to shape the future of the franchise. That star is Jaylen Carter. His name was back in the headlines this week after a viral quote resurfaced, and fans are still buzzing. Here's what Carter said after a recent OTA practice. "Money's good and all that, but after we just won that ring, you saw how we all looked. That's better than just one person getting paid. I'm just grinding every day to try to get to another Super Bowl." Read that again. That's not just talk. That's the mindset of a leader. That's the type of hunger championship teams are built on. Now let's be clear, Carter's rookie deal isn't even up yet, but we all know what's coming. He's not just good, he's elite. And when that time comes, the Eagles will likely need to offer him the richest defensive tackle contract in NFL history, even higher than Chris Jones's current $31.75 million per year. That's a massive chunk of the salary cap. And that's why Philly didn't make a huge offseason splash like going after Trey Hendrickson, even though they had nearly $30 million in cap space. They're saving that money for number 98. But here's the twist. If Carter truly means what he said, if he's actually willing to work with the team on a deal that helps keep other talent around, even just by adding void years or shaving off a small amount, it changes everything. It would let Howie Roseman build around Carter, not just pay him. It would open doors for more weapons, more depth, more future playoff runs. And that kind of selfless attitude, that's been a growing theme in Philly under Nick Sirianni. Just look at Jalen Hurts. Last week, Hurts' agent Nicole Lynn revealed something rare. When they were negotiating his historic deal, he didn't want constant updates. He just said, "Do the deal. I trust you." That's what leadership looks like. That's what building a dynasty looks like. Carter is showing signs that he's part of that same wave, a new generation of Eagles stars who want to win together, not just cash out alone. So now it's your turn. How confident are you in the Carter contract situation? Should the Eagles try to lock him up now or wait another season? And in this tight end battle, who do you want behind Goodert? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk birds, because this offseason is anything but quiet. Let me tell you something that speaks volumes about the culture being built in Philadelphia right now. While most NFL stars chase every dollar and demand every update during contract talks, our quarterback, Jalen Hurts, did the complete opposite. When his agent, Nicole Lynn, was working on the deal that made him the highest paid player in NFL history, do you know what Hurts said? "I don't want to hear anything. Just tell me when it's done." That's it. No constant calls. No stress about numbers. No ego. But it gets even better when she finally told him, "You're the highest paid player in NFL history." Do you know what Hurts said? "I didn't ask you to do all that." Think about that for a second. He wasn't even impressed by the money. What he really cared about was one thing. How do we keep my team together? He wanted to know how the deal would affect the cap, how the option bonuses would help lower the cap hit, how the Eagles could still pay his teammates and keep building a winner. This is what makes Philadelphia different. This is the kind of selfless leadership that creates dynasties, not just highlight reels. And guess what? Jaylen Carter seems to be cut from that same cloth. He's not chasing stats. He's not asking to be the richest man in football. He's focused on one thing, winning another Super Bowl. But here's the reality. Carter's role in Philly is growing fast, and with that comes big questions, especially around how much the Eagles should actually use him. Let's break this down. In 2023, Carter played 831 snaps in the regular season. Add in the playoffs, and he went over 1,000 total snaps. That's a ton for a young defensive lineman in just his second year. Compare that to prime Aaron Donald. In 2021, Donald played 1,041 snaps just in the regular season. So Carter's usage isn't unheard of, but it is worth watching. Even Carter asked his new defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, about it during minicamp, and Fangio gave the kind of answer every Eagles fan wants to hear. He reminded everyone of Carter's epic performance at the end of the Rams game. Even after 69 snaps in that game alone, he was still dominating. Translation, Carter's engine doesn't stop. But should they pull back his workload just a little to keep him fresh for the full season? Maybe. It's a fair question. Not because he's not in shape, but because longevity matters. And here's where the Eagles' coaching and front office strategy really shines. They're not just throwing Carter into the fire alone. They've surrounded him with depth, talent, options. First, you've got this year's breakout candidate the underdog fans are falling in love with, Moro Ojomo, who's been turning heads all offseason. And let's not forget Jordan Davis, who has come into camp in the best shape of his career. He's moving better. He's stronger. He looks locked in. That's a massive boost for the entire defensive front. The Eagles are building a rotational fortress on the defensive line, not just to dominate, but to protect their stars from burnout. They want Carter fresh in December, fresh in January, fresh when it matters most. So while the NFL is talking about contracts, stats, and pressure, the Eagles are making quiet, calculated moves to keep their young superstar healthy, happy, and deadly. Eagles fans, sound off in the comments. Should the team scale back Carter's snaps this year, or let him go full throttle again? What kind of season are you expecting from Jordan Davis and Ojomo? And if Hurts and Carter are truly putting the team above the paycheck, how far can this team go in the next 3 years? Let me know below. I'm reading every single take. Fly, Eagles, fly! Let me ask you something, Eagles Nation. Do you believe in culture? Because in Philly, culture isn't just a buzzword. It's the fuel behind everything. It's what kept this team together last season when things were falling apart for others. It's what helped them regroup, refocus, and finish strong. And it might just be the biggest reason this team is built for another Super Bowl run in 2025. Let's break it down. We already know the Eagles' defensive line is going to be dangerous this season. Whether Jaylen Carter plays 1,000 snaps, 1,200, or 800, they're going to eat. Period. Why? Because of the young talent ready to explode, like Jordan Davis, who's in the best shape of his career. And don't forget Moro Ojomo, who's still being talked about as a breakout star. Add in Thomas Booker, the vanilla gorilla who made waves last camp, and this front is deep, hungry, and ready to dominate. But the real story here, the real weapon, is something deeper. It's Nick Sirianni's leadership. At Fanatics Fest in NYC, Eagles legend Brandon Graham opened up about just how powerful Sirianni's presence was last season, especially during the tough times. It started from the top, BG said. Nick stayed consistent. He didn't panic when things got bad. He just kept saying, "We're gonna weather this storm. I'm here until they kick me out. Let's keep working." And that's exactly what the team did. They rallied, they regrouped. After the bye week, something clicked. That's when the details started to matter again. That's when players began holding each other accountable. That's when belief started spreading like wildfire through the locker room. Graham credited both Sirianni's steady leadership and Vic Fangio's tough accountability for keeping the team focused. We had the meetings run a certain way. The vibe changed, and it just trickled down. Everyone started believing again. This is what championship teams are made of. Not just talent, but trust, focus, and belief in something bigger than yourself. And if you needed even more proof of the culture in Philly, just listen to what new offensive lineman Kendall Lamb said after joining the team this offseason. Last year, he was with the Miami Dolphins. Now, he's blown away. "I understand why the Eagles reached 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, Lamb said. Players are never late, never toxic. After every practice, the room spends 15 minutes talking about personal struggles just to stay mentally sharp. I never got that in Miami." Stop and think about that for a second. A backup offensive lineman, someone who's been around the league, seen different locker rooms, is praising the Eagles' culture more than any stat sheet or film study ever could. He didn't talk about the speed of the offense. He didn't mention the playbook. He talked about respect, discipline, unity, about a locker room that checks in on each other mentally, not just physically. A place where every player feels like they matter. That is rare in the NFL. That is special. And in a league where every team is talented, that kind of culture is what wins championships. Do you believe the Eagles have the best culture in football? Who do you think deserves the most credit for it? Sirianni, Hurts, the veterans, and how much does culture really matter compared to talent? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And while you're at it, rate your confidence in Philly making it back to the Super Bowl this year on a scale from 1 to 10. Let's talk about it, Eagles Nation. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's be real, Eagles fans, there's something different about this team. Something special. Not every roster has it. Not every locker room builds it. It's not just about plays on the field or stats on paper. It's about brotherhood. It's about a team where players actually love being here, where they fight for each other, stick together, grow together. And right now, in 2024, that bond feels stronger than ever. We've seen this before in the Eagles' best years. In 2017, you could feel the magic. Even when Wentz went down, something unshakable held that team together. 2022, that team had an energy, a focus, a unity that no one could deny. Now here we are in 2024, and guess what? That same feeling is back. Most of the core is still intact. The chemistry is real. The locker room, stronger than ever. And even though we, the fans, don't get to sit in on meetings or watch what happens behind closed doors, we can still sense it. We can feel when something special is brewing in Philly. This team isn't just chasing wins, they're chasing legacy. They're building something bigger than just football. The Ramsey dream is dead. And that's okay. Now switching gears quickly, some of you have been asking, what about Jaylen Ramsey? Is the trade still on the table? Could the Eagles make a move? Here's the truth. That dream is done. NFL insider Ian Rappaport confirmed last week that Ramsey's goal is to play out west. His words, Jaylen Ramsey will get traded. It'll be before the start of training camp, and he wants to be on the West Coast. That's all we needed to hear. Philadelphia is just about as far from the West Coast as it gets. Plus, add in Ramsey's age, his massive contract. And let's not forget his rocky history with Vic Fangio. Let's be honest, Birds fans. It's just not worth it. The price is too high, the fit is too awkward, and the culture here is too strong to risk the wrong piece in the puzzle. We've got bigger things to focus on. So here's what I want to know from you. Do you feel that same special energy in this 2024 squad that we saw in 2017 or 2022? Are you glad we're staying away from risky trades like Jaylen Ramsey? Who do you think is the most underrated leader in this locker room? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's get the conversation going. I read every single one. And make sure you hit that like button if you believe this team isn't just talented. They're tight, they're hungry, and they're ready to bring the Lombardi back to Philly. More updates are coming this week, including a possible exclusive Eagles player interview, so stay tuned and stay locked in. This season is going to be something special. Fly, Eagles, fly!